Sunday night, we talked about Seattle. Seattle was a 3-point underdog. The line has moved to 2.5. This is a pros Joe's game against the Bengals, I should say. Tickets on the Bengals, money on Seattle. I grabbed Seattle +3. 2.5. I don't like it as much.
Yeah, and I want to go to the Bengals because this is a great matchup for their offense where you can pass the ball on the Seahawks game. I know they look like, the best team ever against Daniel Jones and this Giants team, but we mean they're not, Chad. We know the Seahawks have a bunch of weaknesses and good teams can exploit them. I mean, who was it they lost week 1? Was it Rams? There's just certain teams that if you have the right receiving core, you can really exploit this young secondary that the Seahawks team has. So, if I read all week that Joe Burrow is still moving well and no setbacks, 2.5 on the Bengals and a healthy Joe Burrow, I'm probably gonna end up on it. Like you watch that game against Arizona, he was scrambling, he was moving in the pocket, and then on the move, making those downfield throws. Which for 3 weeks, you watch the same footage, he could not hit those throws on the run, and now it looks like he kind of got his groove back and his rhythm back and his timing back with Chase. It's a big deal. So me and Chad, I hate being on the public side, but it feels like a 2.5. That's a good number to back this Bengals team. So I'll throw a little bet on it now, and then we'll I'll know more by Thursday about what the pros are doing on this one. But my first instinct was kind of with Chad, where it's like I wanted to take the Seahawks, but then after going back watching the Arizona game, Joe Burrow looks like old Joe Burrow, so I'll take him here as a desperate team to get back to 3-3. Like they need this game to get back to 500. So I like Joe in that position.
So here's the thing about the Bengals that has me equivocating is what do we know about that Arizona team? And what do we know about the quality of that win? Joe looked amazing, but that's a team that isn't very talented to begin with and is beset by a bunch of injuries, especially on defense. They've been playing so much better than they should be that do we end up giving Joe too much credit for beating an Arizona team that had been overperforming?
No, because I wanted to see him move. That's like it could have been anyone out there. It doesn't matter what the team was. It could have been your Bears team, one of the worst defenses in football. Just seeing him move would have made me happy. Like the guy had him been moving outside the pocket. He hadn't been moving around inside the pocket. Like if you go and watch that Tennessee team, it looks like Joe had never played football before. Like he just would stand back there. He was counting a 5 in his head and then just get sacked. And like Joe, healthy against Arizona, he didn't look that way. Like he'd count the 3 in his head. Once it got past 3, like old Joe, he'd move in the pocket or he'd get outside the pocket and use his feet. So that's really what I wanted to see. And, the criticism's fair. Like the Cardinals mean you aren't that high on them. He didn't just beat them. They looked like they dominated them, right? It was a 31-20 kind of win. That's a great win for a Bengals team that really needed that win. I mean, that line, might have been 8.5 against Arizona to look ahead, and it dropped all the way to 2.5 when me and Chad talked about that Bengals team. And even me and Chad were scared. We're like, God, I don't even know if we won't even take it. So that's how it's going to be with this Bengals team right now. It's like, you could totally get burned if we go in on this week against the Seahawks and Joe isn't right and he isn't healthy, and that was just a mirage against the Cardinals. But from everything I've seen in the tape and everything I've read from the beat writers this week, sounds like Joe's kind of gotten over that leg injury.